Greetings, everyone. It is Che from Marquee Sports and Events. We got Dontrell and we got our guy Steve-O with us today. We come to talk about sports, of course, on the series. First off, we want to let everyone know, and we hope that everyone is registered to vote. If you are not registered to vote, please visit virginia.gov and search registration, voter registration, and you will be able to vote on that link. All right, so today, our topics for today are college football. We're going to talk about the organization of it and our expectations for the season. We have the second topic of the day is the NBA playoffs. Going to discuss the conference finals and our finals pick. Thirdly, we're going to talk about the NFL, early front runners, and predictions. And then last but not least, we're going to discuss protests from all sports organizations. All right, so first off, we're going to talk about the college football season, and who better to start off with than Steve. So what are your thoughts on the organization of the college football season, and then what are your expectations?
All right. First of all, I want to say I'm happy that college football is back. As a fan, anybody knows me, he called me and tried to do something on a Saturday before 9, 10 o'clock. It's probably not going to happen. So I'm happy it's back, and I'm happy they're being safe. I mean, it's still COVID cases, but overall they're still trying to be safe, and they're limiting some of the numbers. So, I'm glad it's back. As far as the organization, I just don't see how, at the end of the day, it'll be fair. Like the Pac-12 came out yesterday and said, we're going to do a 7-game season. So, you got conferences playing 9 or 10, 11 games. That ain't the season. Pac-12 got a Pac-12 champion that's 7-8-0. And let's say ACC got a runner-up that's 10-2. How can you make compare that like the ACC team doesn't deserve to go winning 10 games versus a Pac-12 team that if they played 3 more games, they might have lost a game. So I'm just interested to see how they're going to do that at the end of the year. I was listening to some today, and they said if Pac-12 team goes undefeated and looks good, they should be in. I don't agree with that, but that's my case. I feel like they need a commissioner or just some type of better oversight council where everybody gets on the same page. But I do understand also that the Pac-12 had underlying circumstances with the fire and the air quality and things like that. So some of the states were shut down and they couldn't really come back early. But I just think it's a big mess, especially the Big Ten too. A big mess overall. But I'm happy it's back. I get to watch tomorrow. SEC is back. And as far as my prediction and the outcome, I hope they finish the season. And I think it's 3 teams that have a chance: Ohio State, Clemson, and my guys.
Roll Tide,
Alabama. Those 3 teams, they got the best chance of winning it all. I'm not saying we're going to win it all, but if I had to put my money, it would be on one of those 3 teams.
All right, Dontrell, what you got? What are your thoughts on maybe the organization of the whole college football season?
Honestly, man, the business of college football was a mess. It is professional sports, whether they like it or not, and the business was a mess. Everybody was out for their own, and I mean, we saw it, probably a few years ago when they had a lot of the conference realignments. Everybody's about the dollar bill and what makes them the most money. So the ACC, the SEC, the Big 12 were like, well, we don't want to lose out on these funds. We're going to go forward, kick everybody else off campus. So we're going to keep these football players here, play football, make this money, have these games. The Pac-12, the Big Ten, they were looking a little bit different. And, you saw the protests with the parents from Ohio State and the University of Iowa, and there were so many issues. They just really were like, well, you're messing up our opportunity for our kids to possibly get looks and go to the NFL and so on and so forth. The whole organization of it was an absolute mess. And, I know nobody can prepare for what COVID brought, but it was an absolute mess. And they do need to figure out some way, somehow, how to get everybody on one accord so the decisions are made in a fluid manner, in a rightful mind manner, so that we can, be able to progress and not have, one conference doing this, another conference doing that. We had SEC, ACC, Big 12 playing. Now we just get the Pac-12. We just get the MAC. We just get the Big 10. And like Steve said, you got to compare 7 games to 10 games to 12 games. And, we look at University of Houston has had 4 straight games, canceled because of COVID. The University of North Carolina just had a game last week in Charlotte canceled. So, it's just a mess. And, everybody's happy to have football back, but it's a mess. In terms of predictions, I really care less about whoever else wins. As long as my University of North Carolina Tar Heels win, it's all that matters. We back in the top 15 preseason. We finally got things on the right path. Return to the MAC. Mac Brown got us coming. Sam Howell at quarterback. As long as we can win some games, that's all that matters. Hopefully we can maybe get that upset over Clemson this year. But I can care less about Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, anybody. Just as long as we win some games, that's all that matters.
Go ahead, speak your mind. Speak your truth, brother.
Go Heels.
Well, yeah, I'm definitely with y'all on the organization of college football has been terrible thus far, and I just wish it was like a commissioner who was in charge of all of the conferences, or at least the organization when it comes to this special case of a season with COVID. But hopefully, things will pan out. I hope for the athletes that they get whatever they're looking for to get out of the season. I hope they receive that. All right, so we'll move on to our next topic, and that is the NBA playoffs. As it is Friday, September 25th, so we'll have the Heat versus the Celtics tonight at 8:30, I believe. And Heat trying to send the Celtics packing and book their ticket to the finals. So if you could give your thoughts on the conference finals thus far, and then your finals pick. We'll start off with Dontrell.
I'm honestly surprised at what the Heat are doing. I had a little bit biased first round pick, but I had them beating or losing to the Indiana Pacers because I had my Pacers winning. Thought we might be able to make a little bit of noise in the playoffs, but that didn't work out too well as we got swept. But I'm absolutely shocked that they're 11-2 so far. 11-2 so far in the playoffs. I think Celtics will win Game 5 here tonight. I think they're going to push it to at least 6. But every night it's a different guy for the Heat. Whether it's Jimmy or last game Tyler Hero or Goran Dragic or Bam Adebayo, the first-time All-Star. It's just it's a complete team effort on the offensive and defensive end. Udonis Haslem gives great support from the bench, and they just literally cheering support from the bench, not actually in the game. But great support from the bench, and things just flow well from them. In the West, I'm a Pacers fan. I was tired of seeing LeBron beat us every year in the East. So, I care less if the Lakers lose. I hope they lose. Jamal Murray, Paul Millsap, all them others, please beat. That's all I care about. Came back from 3-1 the first 2 rounds. Maybe they can do it again. I doubt it happens. But, I'm cheering for the Nuggets. But I probably think the Lakers will take it in 6. And, they're probably the favorite for the finals. But, I hope they don't win. But it is what it is.
What you got, Steve-O?
So I really, in my NBA finals, I really had the Indiana Pacers penciled in as the Eastern Conference representative when it started. Sorry, I'm lying, Dontrell. I had them. But as far as tonight's game, man, the Heat they're playing great team ball. They're probably playing the best team ball offensively and defensively out of any of the teams that's left. I think the Celtics have a chance because they have a great coach. Might be a stretch to say they might have the best coach that's left in the playoffs, but I don't see them coming back to beat the Heat. I mean, they're just on fire, playing great team ball, and they're actually having fun together. And when you hear the Celtics, what happened after game 2 when they got into it, and yeah, they can play it off like everything's cool now, but I mean, winning heals all, and you just lost game 4 last night or the other night, so I don't see them coming back. As far as the West, I think Denver's best chance to win a championship period was last night. I think they had to win last night. Unless Greg Popovich and the old Spurs come back, I don't see LeBron losing 3 games in a row. So I don't think Denver has. But to say to their credit, I mean, we saw this coming last year. Last year they got to the second round. I think they lost in the game 7 to the Blazers, and they just added talent to added young talent to young talent. So they have a chance. I don't see them being any good past this year as far as getting to the finals, but it's over. I think it's the Heat in LA. I mean, the Heat, yeah, Heat in LA in the finals, and I don't see the Heat matching up well with the Lakers at all. Like, there's too much size, too much variety. When the Lakers actually play and actually attack the rim and go for offensive rebounds and play team defense, they're unstoppable. When they shoot a lot of jump shots, anybody could beat them. But I think when the crunch time, they buckle down and do what they got to do. And so I got the Lakers winning it all versus the Heat.
Gotcha. My take on the conference finals, I'm going to lean towards Boston pulling out a close one tonight, and then Miami finishing them off in Game 6 by, I want to say, 5 to 10 points in Game 6. I've been very impressed with Miami. I know there were a lot of sports commentators who said watch out for Miami. I don't think they thought they would make it this far, but they were a team that were on the rise and they were playing great ball, great team ball. I think they genuinely like being around one another, so that always helps with chemistry. So I got them making it to the finals, and then on the West, I think the Lakers will go ahead and take care of business. Next game, Game 5, 4-1, close out the series. Because Denver, just having respect for Denver, and then with you got Rondo and you got LeBron. Those are guys who've been there, done that. They're not gonna take one game off. So I think they'll have the team ready to play, and so I expect them to close it out next game. And then in the finals, I actually think it's going to be a good finals between Miami and the Lakers. Actually, I think they don't necessarily match up well in the front court, but I do think they match up well. They have a lot of bodies that they can throw at LeBron. You have Crowder, you have Iguodala. You can even put Jones on him, even though he's not going to be able to guard him in the post. But he does. He will provide you some length and some defensive prowess there. So I actually think it'll be a very interesting series. I see it going all the games being close because they play similar style, defense first. Surprisingly, more than I thought, the Heat actually have a pretty good perimeter shooting. Their others, I think, could possibly outplay the others. And when I say others, I'm talking about non-stars of the Lakers. I think it'll go at least 6. I see it going 7. So I'll pick the Lakers in 7. But I think it'll be a very interesting matchup. I do look forward to the Adebayo and Davis matchup. I think that'll be a good matchup. I think Adebayo can present a problem for AD defensively, especially if he's not being aggressive. And so I do see that series going 7, but I got the Lakers winning. And I think it'll be a great thing for the league. I think it'll be a great thing for LeBron and how he uses the platform. So I think it's something the league wants to see. And so I think it'll be great for him, great for the league. And so that's my pick. Moving on to the next topic. We got our NFL. We started week 3. My Dolphins got that W on Thursday Night Football against the Jags. We'll take what we can get. Fans up for right now. We'll talk about early front runners and then predictions for the season. So, Steve-O, you want to start off with this one?
Yeah, man. Look, I want to check the power rankings for this week, the top 10. We got the Ravens, the Chiefs, Green Bay, Steelers, Seahawks, Bills, Titans, Rams, Saints, and Patriots in that order, 1 through 10. Out of those 10 teams, I got 5 actual contenders: Ravens, Chiefs, Packers, Seahawks, and Patriots. And I'm a Rams fan. So one, I think it's disrespectful that they got the Bills ahead of us because they beat a team that's ranked number 30 and number 32. And Jay, one of those teams is your team, but we're not gonna mention that anymore. But I just the Ravens and Chiefs on Monday night, that's gonna be a great game, and I think they have to be the top 2 front runners right now for everybody. Don't sleep on Aaron Rodgers, and that running game is going. He needs to find some more wide receivers, but don't sleep on Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. But just the way the Seahawks played the other night and the way the Patriots matched up with them, I think between the winner of Monday night's game, the Seahawks and the Patriots they got to be the front runners right now. And I hate the Patriots, but that defense is still playing well. Cam is a problem, and they've adjusted their offense to Cam, and he's got something to prove. I would love to say my Rams are going to do something. I think our defense needs to get a little better, but I just don't see anybody contending with whoever wins on Monday between the Ravens and Chiefs, the Packers, Seahawks, and the Patriots. I will say this. I still got a little faith in the Bucs, Tom Brady, and what he has. You got to respect that. I'm going to give respect to the 49ers. They have some injuries, so we'll have to see how that plays out. But they were still slated to be a dominant team. And I'm surprised, y'all. If the Redskins can find an offense, they might – not the Redskins, Washington football team. They might have the best defense in the league. That defense is scary. If they can find an offense, which they're not going to because Dwayne Haskins is terrible, but if they can find an offense, he don't say he's young, he's just terrible. If they can find an offense, it'll be over. And I only like the Washington football team, but the offensive line is suspect. They don't have a running game, and the quarterback is terrible. But that defense, you put that defense with a halfway decent offense, and they're scary.
All right, what you got, Dontrell?
First off, Steve, come on, man. We ain't got to disparage the young black quarterback. You know, we can talk about Baker, Josh Rosen, who got released. You know, come on, leave my man Dwayne off by himself, man. He got a new offensive coordinator, new head coach. You know, let him be, man. Let him learn for a second. He got to be terrible. Hey, you know, especially when you got Jared Goff as your quarterback. But
the
anyway,
only thing he needs to learn to do is how to hand somebody else some water, okay?
Oh, okay. Excuse me, Jared Goff fan club chimed in. Well, anyway, I think the biggest thing about the NFL season for me has been kind of the changing of the guard. Right now, in these first 2 weeks, we've seen some really poor play from some stalwarts in Phillip Rivers, Tom Brady, Drew Brees. They've really struggled. But then we've seen guys like Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and even kind of surprising me, Josh Allen, kind of have great starts. So, you know, I think that is something that I think we can continue to look at throughout the season is do these old dudes keep struggling or will they, you know, turn back into their Hall of Fame selves, at least have their teams play a little better football. I agree with Steve on Cam Newton. You know, the Panthers blew that one to me. Cam has looked, you know, really good. But, you know, I have to agree with, you know, Richmond's own Russell Wilson that he is the best quarterback in the NFL right now. And I think the Seahawks are a team that I say is I'm going to call them the best team in the NFC. I think the injuries that we've seen for San Francisco kind of drops them down. The Packers need, you know, to figure out the wide receiver corps, but they look solid. Aaron Rodgers looks like, you know, the old Aaron Rodgers. And I just don't see Tampa Bay having. I mean, I got Robert Council on 2 of my fantasy teams. He got me 0 points last week. I'm trying to figure out what's going on there. He's been terrible. Awful. 0 points. Man, couldn't catch a ball, get 1 yard, nothing. But as far as those predictions, I'm looking at the NFC, AFC, Patrick Mahomes, and the Kansas City Chiefs, defending Super Bowl champions. Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens, I think they're head and shoulders better than everybody else in the AFC. Sorry to say for Cam, I think Cam might be able to get into the playoffs, maybe. I think Buffalo has a solid squad, but I don't quite trust Josh Allen. If y'all remember the playoffs last year against Houston, I don't know what was going on. He was doing crazy stuff. So, I don't quite trust him until we get to that playoff time. But, AFC, I think we're going to see a Chiefs, Ravens, AFC championship game. NFC, I think we'll see the Seahawks, and then either the Packers or I'm going to go on a limb and say the Saints to get it together. Packers or the Saints in the NFC championship game. And surprise team I think might be the Arizona Cardinals. I ain't gonna talk about the Washington football team, even though they look decent, but Arizona Cardinals might be a surprise team in terms of wins, and surprise team in terms of disappointment. Probably the Philadelphia Eagles. I think what's going on, what we're seeing right now, will continue. I don't know that I'm not a huge QB guru or anything, but Carson Wentz struggles I think might continue. I don't think they should go to Jalen Hurts, but I think Carson Wentz struggles might continue for a little bit because they have some offensive issues in terms of their receiving core, and even I don't know their running back. Who's their running back? They're doing it by committee, and it not much has really happened. So that's my look at the NFL. I don't have a favorite team. I know I did not speak on the Miami Dolphins, who will be trash. They will continue to be trash, and they were trash before. As people say, I won't use those words about their team shape, but y'all. Okay, Che muted me, so I guess I'll start talking about the Dolphins.
See, that's what you can do when you are the host for the day. So, no more slander on my Dolphins. As you know, NFL season goes on a week-by-week basis. So, when you win, you're on a high. When you lose, you're on a low. This week, we on a high, and we can enjoy it for actually a couple extra days because we played on Thursday. So, anyway, fins up. All right, so yeah, Dolphins aren't that good. I know that. I've always been truthful about my team. No one can say anything different. However, I am on board with most of what both of you all said. I do want to touch on that defensive line for the Redskins is very, very scary. You talking about Finnegan, you talking about Chase Young. I mean, that's
John Allen, Deron Payne.
I think I read something where they said they had like 6 first-round picks on the defensive line. So you're talking about subs and everything. So that is a dangerous defense right there. So I hope Haskins can get it together and at least be a field general and lead that team. Because, I mean, honestly, the NFC East is wide open. Everyone knows that division, is all types of crazy every year. As far as on the AFC, though, definitely Lamar Jackson. With Baltimore, I got them. Gotta love Mahomes. So those are definitely the 2 favorites. I would say that I expect, I'm hopeful that the Texans will kind of get it together. I think Watson hasn't been playing bad ball. They do have a whole, basically revamped the receiving core without Hopkins. I know they still have Will Fuller, but you got Cooks and then you got Cobbs. So, not big receivers. So I think Watson just got to adjust to that, and he'll get it together. So I do look for them to kind of sneak into the playoff picture there. And then also New England. You got to like New England. You got to like Bill Belichick, McDaniels, what they're doing over there, what they're drawing up for Cam. Defense is playing well. So I expect those 3 teams to be right there. And then on the NFC side, I got, like you said, Dontrell, you got to, for right now, through the first 2 weeks, you got to go with Green Bay. Seattle looks very dominant. They got Adams on the defensive side of things, Bobby Wagner. So, they're looking very sharp. I do think they need to tighten up on the defensive end. They're giving up quite a few points. So hopefully they can tighten that up and secure that side of the ball. And then the Green Bay AR-12 has been looking like vintage AR-12. And then I think New Orleans will get it together. I mean, they have a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. With them adding Michael Jenkins, and they got Lattimore on the corner. I really like that defense. I think they'll shore it up. They'll get it together. And then I think Drew Brees may have to take a little bit of a step back and kind of more go to a managing of the game type format, like Manning did in that last year with Denver. But that's the key role, when to check down, all of that type of stuff, when to get into the right type of run situation. I know a lot of times that's kind of underplayed and not given credit, but that is a very underrated aspect of a quarterback's game. So those are my picks. So that's my picks for the NFL. So now our last topic is the protests throughout all the sports organizations. And I'll start this one off. I think it's been great. Definitely with the NBA. They led the way. WNBA, big shout out to them for using their platform. And really, they were the kind of initiated it from the beginning. And I'm talking about before George Floyd. They were kind of the initiators, as a lot of times they are. And when I say they, I'm referring to Black women. And with the sport dominated by Black women, they did that. And then the NBA, felt compelled to kind of join in before George Floyd, and now after George Floyd, they've definitely led the way. They've gotten, leadership from the NBA involved as far as the commissioner and things of that nature. So I think they've done a great job. Dontrell, I'm gonna go ahead and go to you.
Well, Trey, Steve, I'm gonna say NFL. They've done some things to make their voices be heard. The NBA has done some things to make their voices be heard. The NHL has done some things to make their voices be heard. Major League Baseball does some things to make their voices be heard. But far and away, the WNBA has done more than anybody. They've led the way. They have done things in a smart, sensible way. They aren't, just kind of going off emotion. Everything seems to be well thought out, well planned. They had the part owner for the Atlanta Dream, who made some very disparaging remarks about the Black Lives Matter movement. And, they, instead of just being like, oh, well, she's awful, they did want her to lose her stake in the team. But, they came out with shirts saying, vote for her opponent. They everything they've done has been calculated, well organized. What the Ahmaud Arbery situation, they show up, with the T-shirts with 7 bullet holes. They everything has been in one group, in unison. It doesn't matter the nationality or ethnicity of the player. It doesn't matter, where they're from. It doesn't matter any of that. Their socioeconomic status. They've all used this platform to work as one for the better good of social justice. And I think, they have deserved a lot more credit than they've been given. And they are always kind of the forgot about thing. I'm honestly a WNBA fan. I probably know way more WNBA players than the average person. I know what's going on in the semifinals right now. Most people don't. Shout out to the Las Vegas Aces. Hope y'all getting together. Y'all down 2-1 right now. Asia Wilson, this year's MVP. Hope she gets together. Need a little bit of help. Come on, Kayla McBride. But the WNBA is the standard, I think, in making things happen. The NBA is right there behind them, but just the way they've done things, there hasn't been any missteps out of line. Where when I say out of line, somebody kind of not being there, like we saw with kind of Jonathan Isaac and Orlando Magic. His opinion is fine, but everything's been in unison with them. And I think they deserve a lot more credit for what they've brought to the table, what they've offered, and what they've done to help the cause.
All right, what you got for us, Steve-O?
Yeah, I'm gonna echo what y'all said real quick. I love what the WNBA has been doing. The unity, the like I said, thought process, the message. They've been great, and they have by far have had the best protests that out of all the sports. And like Don Trust, the NBA is right there. And I feel like not only the players, but those league commissioners and the heads of leagues, they actually believe in this stuff too, and that's why they're working and they're successful. Shout out to hockey, MLS, Bubba Wallace, and NASCAR. That was a powerful message they sent. NFL, I think what the players are doing is great. I don't think the league has caught on yet as far as front office, because I'm not sure the front office believes yet. I think they're trying to head in the right direction, and hopefully they're trying to educate themselves. Like I said, the players, with the ones that choose to protest, I think is great. The ones that choose not to protest but kind of want to keep to themselves, I respect it. But yeah, I just wish the league would kind of get on board as a whole as far as front office. I want to say shout out to the international soccer players. There are a lot of international soccer players, not American born, that are making statements during games and stuff like that. And that's been great. The one thing that's bothered me with the protests in sports are, if you listen to sports talk shows and things, fans calling in complaining about it, man. Just shut up, man. If you don't have anything positive to say, and if you don't understand it, just don't say nothing at all. I hate when people call in and say, I'm tired of seeing protests. I tune in to watch sports, not a protest. And that just shows the disconnect that you have with what's going on around you and the ignorance that you have. And that kind of really bothers me, because if you take time to listen to the message, do your research, you'll see that there is an issue going on. But either you don't care, or you just want to continue, or you just choose to be ignorant. And so, like I said, I just wish the people that complain about it just shut up. Straight up, just shut up. There's no other way to say it. You just ain't got to say nothing, just shut up. And if you don't like it, that's on you. Other thing, just talking about like issues going on, for the people that are complaining about the results of what's going on with Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and everything, go out and vote, man. Local elections are very important. It's stressful and tiring to hear people complaining about what's going on, but then complain about or saying they're not going to vote because they don't trust the system, whatever. The only way we're going to make change, if you get out and vote in your local elections and change the people that impact your area more than the presidential elections. And until you guys start doing that, stop complaining. Yeah, it's a terrible thing that's been happening, but if you're not going to try to go out and vote, then nothing's going to change. And so we need to get out and make sure we vote, not just every 4 years, but when your local elections are going on, get up and vote. It's that simple.
It is that simple, Steve. Well, I appreciate you for closing us out that way.
Hey, Che, can I hop in real quick for a second, man?
Go for it.
I know we left out the NWSL, the National Women's Soccer League, who were the first to return back to playing, and they, protested and took a knee during the anthem as unison most of the players did. And then also Lewis Hamilton, who is a black IndyCar driver who is the best driver, and he has, stood tall and made numerous statements about social injustice and racism and trying to end racism globally, and not just, just in his neck of the woods, but in a whole global movement to end racism.
And the MLB, too, like all sports, man, like most sports have been doing some type of protest, and it's great. Keep going, don't stop, keep the energy going. And I hope that when these seasons end and the next seasons pick up, we'll continue all the way down to college football, and hopefully college basketball will do the same.
Yes, I hope it definitely trickles down to college, all levels, all the way down to the kids. I hope it all trickles down, and we really can see some change later on down the line. Hopefully sooner than later, but at some point. Like Steve said, please go out, register to vote. If you haven't registered, Google search your state voter registration. For example, we are in Virginia. Well, Steve and I are in Virginia, so it'll be Virginia voter registration. You should get your local government or your state government website, and that will provide you a link to go register and vote. So please go vote. is very important. Like Steve said, not only the presidential election, but your local elections. Your local leaders have more of an impact on your community than the president. Also, please fill out the census. That's very important to get federal dollars to your state, to your locality. That's all we got. We're going to wrap up for this episode of the series. Peace.